Welcome to the April roundup of ecancer. I'm Gordon McVie, the editor. This month's articles are mostly focusing on delivery of cancer medicines and care rather than discovery. And we kick off with an exceptional paper, exceptional in the number of views it's had, and it's about cancer treatment in the last 6 months of care. Is inaction outperforming action? And it's very controversial and it's really interesting, and you would not be surprised if you're a regular watcher and reader of ecancer to know that it's come from Bishal Giyawali and his colleague Saroj Nirola. Bishal is now no longer in Nepal but in Harvard, and he's putting out reasonable questions, and in the last week since his paper was mounted live on ecancer, there have been 1,500 people have viewed it, so join the club. And then we've got an interesting article looking at the costs of breast cancer drugs, especially the new batch of breast cancer drugs. And this is a paper from the Netherlands, from Twente, from Berghuis and colleagues, and it reports a real muddle in costings and also in length of treatment exposures according to different drugs, the so-called targeting drugs mostly, and also in the measurement of efficacy. And there's a kind of general call here for tidying this up and for making it clear exactly what benefit patients with breast cancer can get from new generation of drugs and how much the healthcare providers are going to have to pay for them. One of the issues of paying has been addressed by the pharma companies along with the healthcare providers, insurers, governments, by looking at risk sharing. And this is an interesting proposal, and it's working certainly in Italy, and it's certainly worth evaluation. And the report that we have on ecancer is by Gonçalves from Portugal and colleagues. And the feedback is, yes, it seems to be working, but it's not right yet. And there are a lot of kinks in the cable, flaws in the system, if you like. But the idea is still good and requires further development. Risk sharing is where the costs are shared between the pharma companies if a new drug just come out of the FDA or the EMA and the healthcare provider who's not really convinced about whether this is value for money or not. The ecancer house teams have been very busy. The AACR was a great meeting in Chicago, and we have all the news items and over 20 video interviews with the key opinion leaders who are the most important news to give. So have a look at that if you didn't manage to get to AACR. And then the e-learning team, the education team, have been working for a couple of years now with the UICC, turning the TNM classification, which is the backbone of where we start with cancer care planning in many countries, turning it from an old heavy book, which I remember in my days there, into an easy, accessible ecancer type module. You can look at it and lean on it and use it to facilitate staging at any time of day or night. The update is available now for the 8th edition for common cancers, breast, colorectal and cervix. And we have now got the TNM introduction to how we use staging translated into French, and also the cervix cancer module is also translated into French. So look out for more of the TNM modules, and if your colleagues don't know that TNM classification is easily available on your app, on your iPad, on your computer, it's dead easy to get at, and it will accelerate the whole business of staging. It's also a very useful teaching tool for medical students, but also for oncologists who are in training. That's it for April, and I'll speak again in May, I hope. Thank you.